Welcome back to Shantae and the Seven Sirens. You have the slow-moving text scrawl.
Little money.
So I'm guessing.
The game only does this twice in the entire
Yeah, it's a
game.
bit weird.
Yesterday.
So
Duh.
I'm guessing the half genies that disappeared are the seven sirens.
Nope.
No, actually.
No,
No,
that'd be
that
interesting.
would also just make sense as a titling thing because they sing. That's kind of
No, they don't sing. They just dance.
Yeah.
Well, they try. They don't even get a chance to dance because they just
no.
get kidnapped.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
in this game, for some reason, Sky's a huge bitch in this game.
Yeah,
Sky is a gigantic jerk in this game.
Sky is a bitch. Bolo doesn't want anything to do with anybody in this game.
Well-
Like the characters are really weird in
Well,
this one.
Bolo just doesn't do anything in this one. I mean, granted, he doesn't ever really do much, which is unfortunate because I just have always liked him. But Sky in particular just comes across as really catty and combative for no real reason. And I mean, granted, like
Well,
they've always argued.
To
in
be
earlier
fair-
games,
to be
but-
fair, after 4 games of this shit, I'd be a little done with the world too.
Yeah, but she like she specifically spends the entire game in that room just lounging by the pool, specifically not helping, and it just comes across as like, dude, come on. And it's, I mean, granted, in some other games like in Pirate's Curse, like we're keeping what we're doing a secret, so it makes a little bit more sense that she's just doing random bullshit. But when we're specifically trying to find everybody, the fact that Bolo and Sky just aren't helping because makes them seem a little bit, I don't know, like
Like
I don't think
assholes?
heartless is the like assholes. Pretty much.
Let's just sum it up that way.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't know. There's still some like good dialogue with them and whatnot. It's just
Well,
it's more
I think they
it's-
wanted to place more focus on the other genies, so the other characters kind of had to sit around and not do anything. But
it's more that, okay, the unfortunate problem with creating a game in which you are a single heroic character saving the day on your own is that you have to write reasons for the other characters not to help, which unfortunately
Well,
often means
they-
going against basic fucking psychology.
well, they write around that for Mimic and Bolo pretty well. That mimics the brains, and Bolo's just incompetent.
well, I mean, Bolo at least tries in some of the other games.
Bolo tries, but he's incompetent, which is usually a punchline. So they have an excuse not
Well-
to have him do anything.
The inherent
Well,
problem.
Mimic actually does do a lot in this game. He's just like missing for a lot.
The inherent problem with doing this kind of thing in a long-running series, though, is that eventually all of those characters that you were originally writing reasons not to have not to have around while you're going around doing the hero thing, eventually they get playable modes of their own, and after that, it's just like, yeah, you've got no excuses anymore, jerk. Come on, get out here, Bolo. I know you
Especially
can be a
Bolo,
platforming
'cause he's-
superstar.
Bolo is awesome in his mode. Like he's my favorite of the 3 to play in that.
We
mode.
still need to do those.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
it's a little
but
like-
we didn't want to do the same game 4 times.
Fourth Mania playthrough. Fourth Mania playthrough.
Man, wouldn't that be tedious playing the same game 4 times in a row? Am I right?
But
It's
the viewing numbers say otherwise, Ted.
Well, that's because they're sheep.
Okay, it's a little like in the Devil May Cry series. Like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that Trish is not playable in Devil May Cry 1. In Devil May Cry 2, they literally just wrote her out of the story and had her disappear on Dante somewhere off screen. Not that they ever mentioned this in game, but that's what they did. She's just not there. They made her playable anyway as an unlockable, but you know, it's still the Dante show. And then in 3, they just skipped the problem entirely by making it a prequel. But then you get to 4, and it's like, okay, we've run out of excuses not to have Trish be playable, and we never had an excuse not to have Lady be playable. So, fuck it, we're just not gonna write anything. They're just not there.
We'll do it as DLC 10 years later.
Well, Trish disguised herself as a Gloria and was going around doing God knows what for half the game and behind the scenes. But that was only while you were playing as Nero. Once you're playing as Dante, she just fucks off to go help the civilians. And she even offers to help Dante at one point. He's like, nah, you better go back and help the civilians some more. So it's just like, you know, would help if I had some help taking down this giant monster statue, but fuck it, go help the civilians. Because we would need to program another playable character otherwise.
So, what did you guys think about the music in this game? Because it's not done by series
step
composer Jake Kaufman. They changed composers.
Which was weird because I learned that after the fact, after beating the game, and I realized like,
I think he was. I think they said he was busy with that Vitamin game. Was it that Way Forward did?
What?
It's like it's a puzzle game for the Switch about like flying in like a pill ship or something that's shaped like a it's weird.
Well, we just found Lewis's Metacritic review for the game.
Sorry, the way you phrased that was so confusing.
But anyway, I bring it up because even though Jake Kaufman didn't do the soundtrack for this, I still liked the soundtrack quite a lot. There's a number of
I like
songs
it. I like. There's a few tracks that I do enjoy here. I don't like a couple of tracks in here, but I just think they did overboard with the chiptune.
They did do a lot of chiptune, yes.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of the original Shantae, actually, just because of the instruments.
You still want the hard octopus thing. You know.
I'm so glad that they brought back the heart squids. I mean, I know it's a minor thing, but having a squid smith who will melt them down and smush them, I don't know. I always loved that. Oh yeah, the other thing, the load times in this game. John, what platform did you play it on?
I played it on PC.
I watched your review, and I'm surprised.
man.
I'm surprised you had so many issues with it because it. I mean, obviously they're the same load screens, but it's nowhere near as bad on consoles.
I was gonna ask you guys because what console were you?
This
Playing
is
on
Switch.
Yeah.
Are you guys playing on Switch too? Yeah. So I played it mine on PC, and from what I've researched after the fact, the longevity of the load times are similar. The thing is, for some fucking reason, this game overclocks your PC. Like it, you have to. Because I read this on a Reddit post. When you boot the game up, you have to go to the task manager and set its priority to normal because by default it's at above normal.
Weird.
It takes all of your fucking resources just to run the game. And
That is bizarre.
I like to think that that is the reason why the game chugs when it gets to it, because the load time itself is one thing, but I can confirm from my my XSplit and OBS recordings, because that has a frame rate a viewer. Every time I got to a load time, or whenever I finished a boss, my frame rate will go from 60 to 15.
There's a couple of places just in normal gameplay where the frame rate tanks for what seems like no reason. Like outside of Tree Town, the game just does not like that area for whatever reason, and it will chug there too. I mean, it's not anything that seriously hampers enjoyment of the game, but it's just the load times are a little bit long for this type of thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I noticed.
And there's more of them. Because there's a lot of interconnecting areas in this game.
Yeah, well, because it's a real
know.
Metroidvania this time. So, anytime you enter a region with a different color on the map, you get a load time almost every time.
Basically.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's not anything that was a huge thing, but considering that I don't remember the load times in Half Genie Hero really being all that bad.
No.
It was just something that was strange.
I wonder if it has anything to do with the 4K resolution.
It's
because
it's a 4K game.
This game was it's a 4K game.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
This
If
game
it's
was
a 4K game, the assets probably are higher resolution.
yeah, which makes me think that maybe during I guess when they were compressing it for 1080p and below, maybe something got janked. I'm not sure, but that's the only reason why I would think that there are as many load times as there are, or why the game kind of screams on computers when it's trying to load interconnecting areas.
Huh.
Yeah, it's just a weird thing. Also, this background is amazing, and I love it. Like
The backgrounds in general are really good, though. I was to go into something you were talking about last part. Or you think this is the best looking game in the series? I'm inclined to agree to a point, but there's still a part of me. It's probably just bias speaking, that still loves the pixel quality of Risky's Revenge and Pirate's Curse a little more.
This might just be a personal taste sort of thing, but especially considering how many pixel games have come out in the past, like 10 or so years, it's an aesthetic I've kind of grown sick of. Is the big thing.
You see, the thing is that I would agree to you on the foundation of there being a large amount of pixel games, but maybe I'm not looking on the right spot. But none of them ever seem to have the same quality as what WayForward put out.
WayForward has
during that
always
time.
had fantastic sprite work.
Yeah, but other like pixel art, other pixel games in like the genre or otherwise, to me, never really got that kind of fidelity with the kind of pixel art they managed to do.
The thing is, pixels inherently have a limit.
Yes.
Like, you could... this is, again, another step in the right direction, but it's like, if you did hand-drawn animation, like, what if we had, Cuphead-level fluidity with Shantae? That would look
or
better.
you're going to say Streets of Rage 4.
Yeah,
Streets of Rage 4, I
something
think
like
is
that
a
for
phenomenal
this.
looking
It's like,
2D game.
it would look better than I think Pixel would, just because I think they hit their peak with what they can do with pixels for Shantae with Pirate's Curse.
Yeah, and it's just, this is the direction that I really wanted to see 2D games go in for a while, because I remember the first game, even though I never played it when it was new, I waited a long time to play it, Wario Shake It on the Wii. Seeing that game for the first time was like, oh my god, you can make a game look like that. And, I mean, granted, I guess it's not the most technically impressive thing when you think about it, because it's just 2D sprites, but it's 2D sprites that look like a real-life cartoon.
Yeah,
And I want more games to look like that, and so stuff like this
I never had a
is
chance to
way
play
better.
Wario Land Shake It, but beyond one, very brief try at a GameStop demo counter. But
I've only ever played like an hour of it, so I don't know how good of a game it is, but it looks amazing.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
It's a good game, it's just a little bit weird.
Yeah, it was...
They wanted to change, after 4 Wario Land games, they kind of wanted to change how they were structured some, and it didn't quite work out.
That was also one of the first games made by the people who ended up making the Kirby's
Epic Yarn
and
Yoshi and all that.
When they decided, before they
Arts and
decided
crafts
that they
time.
needed to use arts and crafts for literally everything that they've ever made. Oh yeah, I love these monster cards. Unfortunately, it does, by the end of the game, it does fall into the trap of you have your favorites and you don't ever feel like you need to change from your favorites, which is a problem that a lot of games with systems like these have, but I just really loved the
I like-
idea.
Because there are some that are just like good overall. Like, why would you ever replace this card?
I would
like the
like
magic
them.
refill one.
Yes, Magic Regen, instant staple.
It's one of those. I like the idea. I wish they would take it a step further and make it closer to the Sorrow games where they do different things. Like maybe, Shantae's Hair Whip gets like a fire elemental, which does more damage to some things, less to others. Or maybe you give they give her a new like actual move.
The one thing that I keep hammering on about this game is that it has amazing potential with the ideas that it introduces, but it doesn't take full advantage of. Again, this is just going on to the overall the easiness of this game, because I love the idea of the monster cards. Like, please, but just inject that shit into my veins. But the game, you don't do much with them. You can't do much with them because the game doesn't ask that much of you.
It is a very easy game. That is
I would
true.
say that there's probably more merit in, like, if you do, like, maybe do a deliberately challenging run, maybe like a 3-heart run.
I want to see how... I haven't done it yet. I want to see how much harder the New Game Plus makes it.
It's not.
Not much.
'Cause you take double damage,
You
right?
take double damage, but you still get so much food.
Oh,
You
well,
know,
I mean,
like-
that's been a problem with the game since Pirate's Curse.
It's the worst it's been here.
It's the worst here, though. Like, I'll agree to some extent, but it was overtuned here. Like, enemies drop food all the time. I never once in this game had to buy a potion in any capacity.
I
No,
bought
that's
potions
enough
because
food.
I had max
money.
and I didn't want to be losing money.
It's one of those. That's part of the reason why I didn't do 100%, because it's like, this game is so easy. I have maxed out food and potions and money. It's like, I don't need to get more hearts.
Are we in the first dungeon now?
Yep.
Okay, so I really did miss these. I really like them. These are, for some reason, I've always liked these kind of Zelda-esque dungeons in Shantae. I think mostly just because we don't see them in many other games of this style. I guess is the thing. Like, I only ever see games, areas like these in 3D games, like Zelda.
Well, yeah.
You don't
Well,
see
it's
that
funny
much.
because it's like, cause I'm trying to think of games to compare it to, and the only thing that comes to mind is Zelda 2.
Like,
Yeah.
well, like most Metroidvania games try to focus on having one like big area that's interconnected within itself. And yeah, there are different themed areas within that area, but it doesn't feel like this game does, where you have a world and a setting and all of the dungeons connected to that.
I guess what's the Castlevania with Jonathan Charlotte? Jonathan Charlotte.
Portrait of Rome.
I guess kind of that one, because you have the bigger like castle map, and then,
And then
you
you
like
have
go
the
into
portraits,
the
yeah.
mini areas. I guess kind of that one.
Those aren't really dungeons though. They're just kind of sub areas.
Yeah. Oh, fuck these guys. I am so happy that when you get the earthquake move, because you can kill the blue ones in one shot, and it is the most satisfying thing in the entire world.
So riveting.
They spam those guys a lot more in this game than...
Yeah, they're all over the place in this game.
Yeah.
They even get like the red ones. Are the red ones new for this one, or they
I
were in?
think they're new for this
maybe.
game.
Maybe they were in like Risky's
Yeah.
Revenge or something. It's been a while since I've played any of them other than Half Genie Hero. I didn't get Half Genie Hero. I'm not sorry. I did have Half Genie Hero on Switch. I did not get Pirate's Curse again on Switch because I've already bought that game twice, and I didn't want to buy the same game a third time.
I got it just because it's added a physical version from Limited Run.
Oh, for Switch they did a physical version?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I knew they
So
had a
it
physical
was one of
version.
those
Yes.
it was one of those I wasn't going to, but then Limited Run had a physical version. I'm like, okay, a physical version would be worth it then.
How long did it take you for your physical version of this game to come in, Ryan?
Oh, you mean of Pirate's Curse?
Of Seven Sirens, because Limited
no.
Run did a version of that too.
No, for recording purposes, I went and just bought the game.
You just bought the game. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame you for that. I buy games, physical versions of games that I own digitally from time to time anyway. So, you know.
You know, going back to what we were talking about last time with the map, I find it so odd that they don't mark things like on the map itself in terms of collectibles, but they'll give you a squid count for dungeons. And I'm thinking, if you could just give me that for the overworld, and not just for squids, but nuggets too, that would probably mitigate
or at the,
a lot
or
of
at the
problems
very
I
least for
have.
each area.
Yes. You know, because you know what, Metroid Fusion, while it didn't do that while you're playing the game normally, once you like finish the game,
Yeah, they had
it gave
the
you a
extra
missile.
mode.
The
It gave you a missile and a E-tank. counter.
the way that enemies like invincibility frames are programmed is not intuitive at all.
No.
Yeah.
You basically just have to hit at the right time and hope it's not blocking.
Well, but the thing is that you don't know when the right time is because
Yeah.
Like the
'cause,
visual cue.
like early on, I approached the same way as I did in other games because it worked then, where you just spam high and low and you'll get it eventually. They are way more prone on blocking everything this time. So
Because they were tired of you cheating it by doing
right.
by spamming.
I mean, fair. But now I'll deliberately take my time. But it's like, all right, I waited 3 seconds for that last hair whip and it's still blocking. I don't know how I'm supposed to bait like a strike. Like, I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to do that with that dude.
I mean, I've always hated those guys, so it's not.
Yeah.
The only thing about this game is that they seem to just have more of them, which is annoying. Granted, you do get more tools to cheese them later on, which
Yes.
feels good, but I would have appreciated a few less until we.
Honestly, until you get the Quake Dance, I don't. Everything else that I tried throwing at them, they just block.
The electric dance, I think they will.
Well, that's what I mean, like by dances. Like, that's what I mean by dances. So.
I think maybe some of the magic might, although a lot of the magic in this game sucks. Pike ball.
I mean,
I think they went a little too far back in trying to nerf the magic after it was so deliberately broken in Half Genie Hero.
Yeah, but I mean, like, fire is useless until you get flamethrower, which is surprisingly good. Like, there's no reason to ever use boomerangs. Super Ball
No.
can be useful in certain boss fights, but it's a little bit underwhelming for most of it. And just Bubble and Pike Ball are just as good as they always have been.
Yeah. Which is it's cool. It's cool to see that the scimitar and pike bar are still great, but it's also like that's only because the other one sucks so much.
I mean, I really do like the flamethrower because you'd be surprised at just how useful being able to hang in midair for an extended period. Risky, you were aiming the wrong way. Why? But yeah, no, you'd be surprised at how useful it is to just be able to hang in midair and shoot a stream of fire that hits pretty much every frame. But it's just. I wish that stuff like the boomerangs and the super balls were better because having a varied selection of powers I think is more fun than just having 2 or 3 powers that are overpowered.
I don't think they've figured out a way to balance transformations, dances, and magic. They kind of have to focus on making one more interesting than the others. Which maybe, if they do decide to do a Shantae 6 at some point and focus on the transformations and dances, maybe just kind of get rid of the magic, I guess.
Well, we'll see whenever.
Okay, we can get into it. We got plenty more parts to discuss.
Yeah, we do. So we'll see you all in the next part of Shantae.